opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Reel live at the TCN Network Studios in Brampton. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. We are live, as always, on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Andrew, this is my guest, Andrew Attia. I knew I was going to not screw it up, so good on me. But thanks for coming on the show, buddy.
Thanks
I really
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
Thank you.
So, Andrew, you're a broker with Remax, right? You run your team, Attia and Associates.
Yeah.
We actually met through the majority of the guests that we've had on the show so far have usually been through a group called Real Estate Hacks. And if you're a realtor and you're watching this or listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, or you're tuning in live on our TCN Network YouTube channel, we have a group called Real Estate Hacks, and it's for realtors specifically. You know, we might have a couple mortgage brokers, lawyer here and there, but majority of the members are realtors. And if you are a realtor, go check it out. Send a request for approval to join, and I'll take a look at it. But Andrew, I met you through Real Estate Hacks. And the reason why I wanted you to come on the show is because Andrew's one of those guys that is constantly lending his support and, offering advice on, the random posts that we have. So I really wanted to get you on the show, pick your brain a little bit. So thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I just want to point out Real Estate Hacks is North American wide, guys, so it's not limited to Ontario or Canada.
Well,
so
we got people in Spain, in Italy,
it's international.
the UK.
Yeah, so it's a good referral network for those in other areas and information that's relevant to where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So take me from the beginning, man. When did you start in real estate?
So officially 8 years ago. 36 now. But when I was 21, I went through and I wanted to become a realtor. Genuinely wanted to become a realtor, and not for any reason of not going through school or anything like that. I just my parents went through the process of selling a house once, and that realtor kind of became family to us, and I kind of looked up to the guy, and then I saw myself doing something along those lines. So I was working on the real estate courses. I passed them when I was 21, got up right to the last one, and was a waiter at the time at Alice Fazzuli's in Oakville, and sure enough, Daryl Budd from Bud's BMW walks in, and him and his wife are her girlfriend at the time. She became his wife. We're having dinner, and I was a waiter. And at the end of dinner, he said, "I'd like you to come work for me." And I jokingly just said to him, I'm not going to wash cars for a living. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "No, I'd like you to come and sell them." So obviously, as a waiter, you're intrigued, right?
Yeah,
BMWs,
absolutely.
Here's Bud's BMW. You drive past it all the time in Oakville. They're a landmark, and so jumped at the opportunity and kind of went and met him on the Monday. And the rest was kind of history there. We end up, selling cars for close to 6.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so from there, transitioned into private wealth management. It was great for the year that I did it, but really wasn't my thing. So came back to BMW and started working back towards getting my real estate license again.
Okay.
So very quickly transitioned through that. And kind of the writing was on the wall. Something happened at work, and just moved into real estate straight from there.
Right on.
Yeah.
So where are you based out of?
So right now we're based out of Milton.
Yeah.
I grew up in Mississauga my whole life. So, we represent Peel and Mississauga, Peel and Halton. Mm-hmm. My team's willing to go into those two markets, and we can do it with extreme success.
Okay. And so off air before we started the show, we were kind of talking about, a lot of realtors. Well, I forget the stat, but I think the North America or the NAR said that 87% of all realtors fail within their first 5 years. And we were talking off air that you didn't have the best first 2 years, right? No. But ever since then, it was, you're on a trajectory to keep selling more and making more. So, what do you think was like the biggest turning point for you? Like, how do you go from, I don't know if you want me to say, but how do you go from making 47 combined in your 2 years, and then going from just exploding from there?
Yeah, funny enough, the turning point in my career is solely attributed to an agent in my office, and he'll go unnamed. But it was so pivotal what happened, and it's one of those situations that it would be crushing for almost anybody, and myself included, but I kind of made the decision at that point to take that opportunity and run with it, and I'll share with you exactly what happened. I had a listing. I transitioned into a brand new RE/MAX office. I was always been with RE/MAX, but I moved from Oakville to Milton because my wife and I we are just moving there. And I got this listing right off the bat. And I went in and I kind of gave the advice, but I ran with whatever the client was saying.
Yeah, been there.
And rather be in a position where I'm giving the advice, I'm letting the client kind of dictate what's going on, and just kind of running with it because I'm so excited I got my first listing ever, right?
Yep.
So client gets frustrated about a month in, the house isn't selling. So one of the biggest agents at that time in our office gets solicited for the listing. He lived on the street, whatnot.
Yeah.
And so we jump on a 3-way call, and he's politely telling me I'm about to lose the listing, and that he's going to take it, and that he'll pay me a referral, and et cetera. And for a person like me, that was crushing to my ego, right?
Of course.
But it was so important to really listen on that call. And what I got from it was is that he spoke with such a level of confidence and delivered an impactful message to the seller as to how he was going to transition them from not being able to sell the home to selling their home. And I was going to help them successfully navigate through that. And when I heard that confidence, that's when I kind of sat back and analyzed myself and said, that's what I'm missing. I need to be better informed. I need to understand my market inside and out. I need to know my inventory like the back of my hand. And I need to go and I need to deliver that message in a way that gives people confidence that I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And that was a turning point in my career. It was confidence. It's that little confidence.
Yeah. And the ability to communicate that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And not letting a situation like that crush you, because it happens to everybody. The best of the best lose listings.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. And so if you're as a rookie coming in, to expect that you're not going to lose a listing is great. It sets goals, but it's not a realistic mindset.
Right. So I mean, effectively, what kind of for a brand new rookie realtor, how can they be informed of the market? I mean, what tools do we have at our disposal? I mean, other than you can deep dive into the matrix, but what can a rookie realtor out there do to kind of be well informed and communicate that with their clients?
Yeah, I mean, look at things outside of real estate per se. So first and foremost, I tell the buyer's agents on my team, you need to understand your inventory around you. So Treb and Matrix both have automatic updates that can send you. Yep. So set up automatic updates for yourself as if you're a client, and make them for a broader area, the market that you serve, and really know what's coming up. You look at a stockbroker, the most successful stock traders in the world, the first thing they're doing is looking at their screen and getting an update as to what's going on, and getting informed, right? So understand your inventory, understand what it is you're selling and what you're advising people on doing. And then listen to external factors. What are other things that people talk about that affects real estate? And start to get really comfortable with delivering those conversations in a professional manner.
Right.
Yeah, that's my advice there.
And I think, obviously just 2.5 short years ago, I was in that position. And it wasn't more of a confidence issue with me, to be honest, but it was definitely, a young guy not being informed about the market, trying to, use his confidence to, win over those listings, but, stumble when it came to, okay, so how much did that house sell for? And if I'm selling a house in that same neighborhood, I should know that, right? But I quickly opened up my phone or computer. Oh, let me just tell you. But you know what? When we had that meeting with Josh Flagg when he came to Niagara just a couple of months ago, that was the one question that he asked me. He's like, well, what was the highest price home sold here? And I was like, I'm not sure. Like, I'm like, what market are you talking about? Niagara on the Lake, Niagara Falls? And he's like, that shouldn't matter. He's like, you should know. And who owned that house? I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
right? But it's exactly what you're saying. You not only have to have that confidence, but you have to be well informed, and you have to be able to communicate that to your clients. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Awesome.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. You know, the large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
the ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
Okay, thank you for coming or sticking with us, guys. We are back. Before we left for the break, we were talking about communicating effectively with our clients. But you're in real estate hacks. A lot of that is not only support, but it's also referrals, right? And we as realtors and leaders and people who really want to take control of our business, we really have to look at the full circle of where our income comes from. Or where our business comes from. So it's not just prospecting and door knocking and however you get your local clients, but it's also about building a referral network and having the ability to communicate effectively with them as well. So you were mentioning that you actually don't do a whole lot of marketing now.
Yeah.
You're almost all referrals essentially.
Yeah.
So how do you build a successful referral business?
I mean, first and foremost, you need to hold yourself to a higher regard, right? So you need to deliver on everything that you say you're going to deliver to your clients and really build that trust. But furthermore to that, it's extremely important that you ask for the referral, right? Like, a lot of agents are really scared to ask for a referral.
Or they're never too busy.
Yeah, or they're never too...
that post
that was actually Chuck. I mean, that couldn't be more spot on. In terms of language, and Chuck's a master at language, so when he posts, people should really take that and run with it. But he definitely highlighted a very important thing, and that is that just putting it in your email is not enough.
Not enough.
It's not enough. You need to train people on how to treat you, and I build that through my team, and I tell them, guys, like I ask for a referral twice in my listing presentation, just to be clear. Mm-hmm. So I'm out there soliciting their business and at the same time asking for a referral, right? So I'm training people to go to work for me. And it's simply this, is people want to help people.
They do.
And if you do a good job and you're very good at what you do, people are going to want to put their neck on the line to give your name out. So you got to take that and kind of embody that and really make that a focus, is that you're going to deliver a service. People are going to work with you because they trust you. And based on that, they're going to then give your name out, right? So it keeps you accountable and really dictating your business and acting with integrity, and at the same time it gets you business down the road.
Yeah, so other than offering value and totally going over the top and servicing, do you have any types of follow-up in terms of referrals? I mean, do you have a CRM with, just, hey, I remembered your birthday, send them a card, or like, do you do kind of that Buffini style of referrals, or is it more of just on a personal level?
Yeah, it's really on a personal level. You're going to call this crazy, but I literally just got a CRM I think 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My CRM was my phone, and it was just conversations with people. My database was like 196 people, and we're putting out some pretty big production, and so it was growing really organically and really, really slow. The most important thing was that I just kept in touch with people, and I was very, very real with them. Keeping on, top of mind, having just meaningful conversations. Yeah. Not always asking for a referral when you call, more of just, hey, how you doing?
Absolutely.
Right? People want to know that they're cared about and that they're more than just a transaction. And there's a variety of ways to do that. So you take what you can and you mesh it into who you are and run with it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you know what? All the big producers who are watching this, and I can see a couple of you on, they're going to think I'm crazy because I'm going to kind of the same as you. Like, I only got a CRM just to only, maybe in January and in around there when I was starting. No, actually, I got it technically 2 years ago with Agent Locator when I started with them, which is an amazing company that does lead gen and analytics and everything. But anyways, I just didn't know how to use it. Yeah. And when I finally found out how to use it, I got with a company called Constant Contact. It's just basically email marketing, and it's a good way to touch base with your clients, future clients, past clients. But at the same time, I'm like you, where I don't utilize it in a way that is, just sending those emails and But what I do is I have my phone, and every once in a while I'll get this urge to text a certain client, or I'll get an urge, and I know that sounds totally disorganized, but the clients appreciate it a little bit more, right? Because it's not an email that they know that you've sent to everybody in your database. It's a personalized text message or call that keeps you top of mind. And you know what? It helps that sometimes you don't want to add your clients to Facebook or something like that. But for me, I absolutely love it because I get to see what their family's doing. I get to see, if their niece or if their daughter had a baby or something like that. Exactly. I get to keep in touch. Yeah. But another thing is you build all these relationships with your clients. I've got 2 clients that just moved to New York City to drop their kid off who's going to I get, what do you call it when you go to school to become a lawyer? But they're like, hey, we just arrived in NYC, and you build those strong relationships. And if they ever come across somebody who they need or they know who's going to sell or buy, they're going to definitely put my name out there. Yeah. And it's about building those small connections with those little personalized touches.
Absolutely. And the CRM is only good if you use it, and so don't get too caught up in getting a CRM if you don't intend on fully using it. Yeah, it's a mindset that you got to get into. You got to make it a tool and a resource for you. So CRMs are great, but if you are going to jump in, you got to kind of jump in full board, and you got to make use of it. Otherwise, you're just burning money, right? Yeah. But yeah, relationships is everything, and to your point, as you continue to grow, it becomes difficult to maintain it that way, and that's why the CRM kind of becomes vital. So the CRM becomes a tool. It's not going to make it impersonal. It's just an additional tool in your bucket of resources to keep in touch with people, because you just can't call everybody every day. Right. At all times, right? At absolutely. Times, yeah. But yeah, referrals again are built on trust, and you got to go out there and you got to ask for them. And you got to be very, very thankful for them, right? You got to be strategic in the way that you accept referrals from people. So anytime someone calls me and says, Andrew, we've got a referral for you, they want to list their home, they want to buy a home, because our team's got a commercial side to the business, they've got a business that they'd like to sell, whatever it may be, we automatically ask them to contact that person back to ask them if it's okay for us to get their information, if it would be okay for us to call them. We do that for a couple of reasons. One is communication is only bonded or only becomes binding if it's given back, right? So if someone calls and says, hey, do you know someone in real estate? And I go, yeah, I know Andrew Perrie, and that's it. And I go, here's his information. You can call him whenever. We haven't really bound that conversation piece. We've kind of left it open. We've thrown it out there and said, let's see if it gets any kind of traction, right? So a really important thing is that when that referral calls Andrew Perrie and says, hey, Andrew, man, I told my buddy he's going to be selling his home. I gave him your information, I told him to call you. You at that point just say, you know what, Andrew, can you do me a favor? Can you call him and ask him if it's okay if I have his phone number and email? And just let him know that I'll be giving him a call this afternoon.
Yeah.
You've now closed that conversation. You've made it more, you've now gone on the offense. You're not waiting for that referral to maybe call.
Yeah.
Right? That person knows 6 agents, 7 agents, maybe 100 agents. Cousin could be an agent.
Yep.
If you're waiting, they can easily be scooped or swayed by anyone else. So you go on the offense and that's what you do.
That's a really good idea. And you know what? Just as you were saying that, I was reminded of how many referrals I've let slip through the cracks, because agents will get in touch with me from all over the country, in the States and everything, and they'll say, hey, look, I've got this person, they're looking to sell, they live in your area, I'll get them to touch base with you, or they're not really ready yet. And I never thought about it. I always just say, okay, not a problem. You just let me know whenever they're ready, and then we'll make it happen. And it's a really good idea, because not only, like you said, you're on the offense.
Yeah.
And you're following up with that agent and kind of getting them to follow up with them. So you're constantly trying to close that gap to make something work.
Yeah, and not even agent referrals, just client referrals.
And
that's
client
how we do
referrals,
it, right?
yeah.
Like it's every referral gets kind of treated the same way, and as long as you do the job that you promise you're going to do, those referrals will keep coming in. And it's not rocket science. It's just it's doing it.
Right. And I'm sure that it comes off a little bit more professional as well. If you can do those introductions, either on a 3-way call, or even through email, which is probably 90% of the way that it gets done, with a little introduction of the person that you're referring to, or how you helped him, or that past client if it wasn't an agent, right?
Think about the effect it has on the person that's referring you when you do something like that, right? They automatically psychologically start to think, wow, this person takes my referrals really seriously. I want to give them more. Right? And so that becomes a really unique strategy for people that want to work on referrals, is getting people to become fans of referring you.
Right.
Celebrate that referral. Something as simple as a $25 Starbucks card for someone sending you a referral, regardless of where that referral goes, instantly gets them hungry to want to do it again.
Absolutely. And you know what? Even the best job you can do for somebody who's referring you is doing the best job.
Yeah.
And servicing them to the absolute best of your ability, because servicing the referrals, in my opinion, takes top priority than any kind of buyer lead that comes in, no matter what their budget is or their time frame, just because you owe it to that past client who's referring you, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Okay, and we're back. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate it. So off air, we're kind of talking about going into our next segment here, and what we were kind of discussing is the importance of a buyer's agent, and because you hear it all the time where because we have a DDF, a data sharing system in Ontario, where sometimes a listing or sorry, an agent will get called about a listing that isn't theirs.
Yep.
And, you know, after finding out from the agent that it's not their listing, some buyers will, you know, navigate or exit out of there and say, sorry, we only want to talk to the listing agent. And why is that something that maybe not necessarily is not a good idea, but why is the buyer agent's role so important for a client?
Yeah, I mean, buyer's agent to me is probably the most underappreciated, understood side of the real estate business. Again, I'm going to throw a shout out to a fellow agent in my area, Chuck Charlton. He's on the right side of being a buyer's agent. Like he's just built a system that educates buyers, and is so important. And I think buyer's agents are so important. And if we're going to change public perception around what a buyer's agent value is, then buyer's agents need to start selling themselves as professionals, right?
Advisors,
Yeah, you're advisors, right? You're helping someone make a decision on a very, very big ticket item. You're giving professional advice. You're telling them what to look for, what not to look for. You're doing research on the neighborhoods. You're making sure that they don't make mistakes. And to say that you're just getting free money is kind of undermined and underhanded. So value your time, right? Value
100%.
your experience. Don't be afraid to stand up for what you're getting paid, because people only make a comment and people kind of follow this wave. I mean, the beauty of social media is one person can make a comment about commission, i.e. a company that's in the no commisery business. Right? And everybody will run with it. And so your automatic thing is the kind of knee-jerk reaction is to just give a response. But if you really believe that you bring value, the conversation becomes a lot easier to defend yourself when you believe it. And so start believing in yourselves and what you do as a buyer's agent, because you are extremely important. It's very important.
So what are things that a buyer's agent can not necessarily offer, but how can they show a client, their value?
Don't be afraid to say no to a client if a client's saying something about a home that you disagree with. Show value by,
that's big.
By showing them that you're not just going to sit there and say yes. When you're just a yes person, then really the client views you as a person that's just there to collect a paycheck, and you're just going to do whatever it takes to get it. But if you're willing to stand there and educate a client when they're making a comment that may or may not make sense, and you don't agree with it, don't be afraid to give that advice and to kind of speak back and gain credibility that way. Gain proper advice. Be informed about the area that your client's buying in, and advise properly. When you see something wrong with a home, point it out. Don't let the client point it out. You lose credibility when that happens.
I completely
right?
agree, and you build so much confidence that the buyers have in the buyer's agent when you offer the best advice on a home that might not work for them. So, for example, I remember when I first got into the market, we were looking at homes. I wasn't an agent yet, and I had a great agent, Mike Roholski, out of Royal LePage, Welland, Ontario. And he essentially said, he's like, Andrew, he's like, I know you got a young family, you're a young professional. I know this house looks amazing, but this is actually directly across the Niagara College. It was a brand new house. It was in our price range. And we're like, wow, come on, man, don't do this to me, right? But he was like, look, you're going to have parties all night from here. You have people walking all across your lawn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that stuck with me to this moment that I'm actually talking about him on our show, right? So it comes to a point where when you show your value, not only, you might not sell that house right there, but that's not what it's about. It's about selling yourself and building the confidence in yourself.
And I'm gonna impress this mindset upon you. Listen, if you're in this for long term, so if you're not in for real estate for a quick buck, and if you are, it's understandable. People make decisions, right? But if you're in this long term, you should view every purchase as your potential listing in 3 to 5 years.
Yes,
that's how you should approach the buyer. Anytime you're dealing with them, any home you're looking at with a buyer, your mindset should be, I'm going to have to sell this in the next 3 to 5 years, because we know that people move on average every 3.7 years. Right? So that should be your mindset in any buying presentation and anytime you deal with a buyer. And listen, I'm going to make a lot of people cringe right now. We don't sign BRAs. We're on trust here, right?
Yeah, neither do I.
I haven't signed the time I sign a BRA is when my admin office sends me an email and says, you need this if you want your commission check. Right? And so we're at a confidence level that we build trust, and we're not going to hold a piece of paper We're not going to use a piece of paper to hold someone, hostage in working with us. It's not to say that we don't present the information. We inform clients of what it is and what they will be signing, but I don't need that paper to keep a client, is what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what I do, and I learned this actually, to give a quick shout out to Kathleen Black Coaching Company. If you're looking to grow your business, maybe reach out to them. So in Kathleen Black's, she had a summit, and they were doing a whole presentation on essentially buyer's agents and their roles. And so what I did is I took the information that I learned from that summit, and I built my own kind of buyer's presentation. And so I'll tell you the honest to God truth, I don't sit there every time with the client when I first meet them and, go over everything physically. But I have kind of got that presentation down where I explain everything that I can do for them in terms of market research, negotiating the best deal for them. But I lay it out like this is basically how long I spend working with you, and this is all the value that I add. And by the end of it, I say, all I asked, you don't pay me. All I asked for is your commitment to me.
Yeah.
And if you can give me that loyalty, then I will work as hard as possible for you. So you're right. I don't get the BRA signed until we submit the actual offer. But it's very important that you do kind of disclose everything that you do for them, right?
Yeah, and again, even for people that are out there buying a home, I mean, interview your agent, see how many deals they've done, how informed are they, are they going to provide a professional level service? Are they going to give you the advice you need to hear? Because listen, if all you're doing is picking an agent based on who's going to give you money back or who's going to buy you the biggest TV, you could end up overpaying. That TV that you're going to get back that's worth $1,500, you might overpay for us by $20,000, and so that TV just cost you $18,500, right? So I strongly urge people to really get themselves informed and understand the buying side is actually vital and extremely important that you have the right person guiding you on that decision.
Yeah, I agree, and it's so easy, to choose an agent that appears to have the best value-added services, via companies that offer, cash back or stuff like that, or other incentives. But you're right. I mean, they're probably going to want to fight for the highest price because they got to give away some of their money,
much of it, right?
So how can they make it up? And I'm not saying that's at all what they do. It can be easier to do something like that, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a possibility, and we'd like to think that no one crosses that line, but you definitely tempt fate there, and that's there, and so just be diligent in that, and going through a listing agent. Listen, I like to focus on the listing side of the business, so I'm gonna somehow shoot myself in the foot here, but it is the honest truth, and that is that going through a listing agent is no way super beneficial to the buyer. We've got predetermined contracts set with listing people that are going to pay us, irregardless of where that client comes from. So. Irregardless, not even a word. Regardless of where that client comes from, I just made that up. Regardless of where that client comes from, so don't be going through a listing agent because you think you're going to have this deal. At the end of the day, I have a fiduciary duty to my seller, not to you. You haven't signed anything with me, so to think you're going to get a better deal, you should get a buyer's agent.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and like I said earlier, like you said earlier, it's important to interview even buyers agents. It's crazy. I mean, even when I first came out on the real estate scene, I did a couple of videos and blogs that were how to choose the right listing agent, how to choose the right buyer's agent, and I still strongly believe in everybody that's especially when they're looking for the first time, or when you see referrals on Facebook, like, hey, look, I know 3 people there. Why don't you give every single one of them a call? I'll let them know you're giving them a call and just interview them. Find somebody who's right for you, because not only is it their expertise, but you have to feel comfortable with them as well. So we're just running out of time on our last break here, so we'll be back in just a few moments.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your dreams all come true. Happy birthday to you.
We refuse to promote report on anything negative in the community.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Okay, we're back. Thanks for joining us, guys. So off air, we're kind of talking about, building a successful real estate career is the same in any business. It's the same in any personal development, anything that you're doing in life. It has to be catered or tailored to what your idea of what success is. If you're doing 5 deals a year, if you want to do 100, it's all about getting in the right mindset, because at the end of the day, if it's money or it's happiness or it's time, we all want to feel like we've done a good job and we're on pace to achieve our goals, whatever they are. And I think building the proper mindset behind it plays a huge role, right? So we were talking off air about, if you do have a mindset where doing 5 deals a year is what you want to make you happy, then running around emulating things that top leaders are doing to sell 100 deals a year might not be the best idea, right?
Yeah. I mean, one of the funniest things now that I look back now, we just have this conversation off air, just kind of took me back to when I first got my real estate license, and you kind of come out of real estate school or whatever you want to call it, and you're like, shoot, like, what do I do now, right?
Like, what do I do?
Okay, so I go find a brokerage. Okay, great. So now I have an office, and now I've got all these dues. Maybe they gave me a few months free, but okay, so now what do I do, right?
What do I do?
And so we get caught up in the what do I do, and then we start gravitating to all these gimmicks that get sold to us, right? Because we're hungry, we want to get our first deal, but we really haven't decided what it is we're looking to get out of the real estate business. And I think that if you're just starting out, that's probably the most important conversation to have.
I think so.
With yourself, right? Is who am I? Who do I want to serve? What do I need to live the life that I plan on living, right? And for some people, that might be 3 deals, depending on the average, sale. For some people, that might be 10 deals. For some people, it might be 20, right? Whatever that number is, figure that out, and then reverse engineer what you have to do to get there. Like, to your point, what you just said, Andrew, like, don't do, 100 a year team activities if you're only looking to do 5 deals. Do what you need to do 5 deals. Do open houses. Get really good at converting from open houses, right? The year that I went from the demise that I was in, that 2-year mark, to blowing up the very next year, we did 17 deals off open houses. Right. And so one of them was a massive commission, and they walked into an open house at 3:47. I'll never forget it. It was actually on that famed listing that I lost to that agent in my office. And by 7:30, they had done a deal with me on a $750,000 purchase. And I'd gone their listing right after that subsequently. So, open houses are a fantastic tool for new agents. Try to do as many of them as possible.
I agree.
Get good at speaking to people.
I agree. And I think when we talk about mindset and how it relates, to open houses, is that a lot of people, especially when they're first in the business, you think that the open house is there to sell that particular house.
No.
Which is amazing if that happens, but there's like 1 to 5% of the chance of that actually happening. And if you change your mindset to focus on the people that are coming in as not only a potential buyer, but also a potential listing, And then also, from there, another open house that could have a potential listing and buyer, right?
Yeah.
So you have to change your mindset.
Yeah.
You don't just allow people to walk in and stroll through without having a conversation and finding out what their needs are.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question just to hammer home how important open houses are. And then if you're a realtor listening to this, just think about this right now. If someone's walking through an open house without an agent, there's only two reasons. Either their agent doesn't care, or they're not working with someone.
Right.
Right? Because any successful agent is not selling their clients, go run through an open house and I'll come write the deal.
Yeah.
Any agent that's producing is out there with their clients and showing them homes. So if they're coming into an open house, they're ripe for the picking.
Right.
Right? They're just ripe
Totally
for the
agree.
picking. And when you wrap your head around that and you become really good at open houses, I promise you guys it's the key to success in this business, if that's what you're looking for. But again, find out what you're trying to achieve and build around doing that.
And I think the best way to build that mindset, into future business is to literally think about future business and putting yourself in the future. Not, what can I sell these guys today, but how can I show them enough value that not only can we and what I mean by that is you're not just focusing on buying them a house when they come through the open house. You're thinking about, okay, do you need a house to sell in order to purchase your next home? Do you know what number you need to sell your house at in order to purchase enough home? Do you understand what that number is? Where did you get that number from?
Yeah.
Has anybody such as a realtor valued your house to give you that number? No. Okay, well, why don't you give me your address and, on my way home I could stop by.
Yeah.
And you got to think about things like that, because if you're just saying, oh yeah, well, sorry, this one only has 2 bedrooms on the main floor. Sorry, maybe come to the open house that we're having down the street next week or something. You know what I mean? You've really got to think about the future and how you're servicing those clients.
Yeah, and don't talk too much when they're in the open house, right? Like, ask meaningful questions, let them do all the talking. Don't always go right for the "are you working with an agent?" because people are programmed to just say yes. It's their knee-jerk reaction. And so if you start with that, I've walked into open houses just to see what other agents do.
Yeah.
And when they ask you work with a realtor, the first thing comes out is yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's death to a lead, is asking, are you working with an agent?
Yep.
Or making that the leading question into any conversation with someone that just walked into an open house. Yeah.
I totally agree. And if you could imagine yourself going to shop for a pair of pants or something, and you're in the store and the sales associate comes up to you and says, "Hey, can I'll give you some help today?" "Oh no, that's okay. I'm just looking."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for, are you going to a party? Are you looking for something casual? Are you looking to play sports? What are you looking for? Well, I don't know. I just casual, I guess. Okay, well, what do you wear when you're just sitting around the house? And it's small things like that. Obviously, like you said, you don't want to annoy the person who's just coming in, right? But there's certain ways to deliver those questions that offer a sense of credibility to those clients when you're walking in.
Yeah, and you can't ask someone for the business if you don't earn their trust, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to lead with value building and trust building. And once you've got, you need to build yourself up to a point that you're allowed to ask for the business, right?
Yeah.
You look at any major company that's going to pitch another company, they don't just walk in and go, "Can I buy you?"
Yeah.
They got to provide reasons as to why they're going to buy them, and then they make the offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no different than when you're approaching a buyer or even a listing, is you got to go in, you got to talk.
Right.
And then at that point, you get permission in the conversation to ask for the business. And the most important part is asking for the business.
Asking for the
right?
business.
Just saying, "Hey, we want to work with you. Do you want to work with us?"
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is probably the most underutilized tool in real estate right now, specifically for someone that's just starting out.
Right. Okay. And so what advice would you give to a rookie agent who's just starting out and wants to get into the business of open houses, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, reach out to the agents. There's going to be agents in every office that produce that historically have listings. Reach out to those agents. Ask them to do their open houses. When you get their open houses, don't expect the agent to sit there and advertise. Market yourself, right? Market the open house around yourself. Bring people to you. When I first started, when I was doing that, I would go get brochures printed with all my branding on it.
Right, absolutely.
Right, and branding could be anything at the beginning. Just make it look like it's you.
Absolutely.
And so go sub out all the information to the open house. Get yours there. when people come in, have real conversations about people, find out what they're doing. They more than likely aren't even looking anywhere near the price range of the house that you're doing an open house in, but they saw a sign, so they popped in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've had people walk into $1 million open houses with $400,000, $500,000, budget, but they wanted to see it.
Of
and
course.
so there's nothing wrong with that, but now I'm going to get you as a client.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? So understand everything that's around you, really find out what people are looking for, and then provide value and ask for the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely reach out to any agent. I mean, most agents probably have an open house list that they email out to the agents.
Yeah.
But it's important to find, if you're just starting out and you live in the area, pick an open house that you know a lot about the area. Maybe you grew up there. Maybe your mom grew up there, something like that. But you know what? We're in the tail end here. So, Andrew, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's plug time. Just let everybody know where you're working again, how they can get a hold of you. And
yes, Attia Associates. We service Halton, Peel, on the residential side. On the commercial side, we're pretty much GTA broad. We'd love to help you and your referrals out. If you're ever in the area, check us out. Attia_and_associates on Instagram. And then Attia and Associates Facebook page. And we just bought My Pro Realtors, so that'll be up soon. MyProRealtors.ca will be the new website for us.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in again. We will see you next week at 10 a.m. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks.